Will you please join me in welcoming the following tech-style influencers to the stage? Chloe Feldman, YouTuber, aka CloeCouture.
Oh, thank you.
Darren Moulden, influencer, aka Darren Wears It Well.
I feel like I went so fast.
Ale La Chula, YouTuber, aka StyledbyAle.
I wasn't sure if there was time for Q&A, so...
YouTuber Jon Phenom.
I told you, I like...
And Brittany DK of YouTube duo Brit X Brat 2 Fashion. All right, here you go.
And hey guys, my name is Jon Youshaei. I'm going to be your moderator this evening. Can you guys hear me in the back all right? Yeah? All right, so I work at YouTube. I work on our influencer and creator marketing, which basically means I have to watch a ton of videos every day and get to know what's going viral, who are our biggest stars from 1 million to 10 million subscribers, and just have a lot of fun with it. I call it more of an obsession than a profession, and it's something that I never imagined at your age that I'd be doing. And I just thought I'd start off, before we get to this amazing panel that we have here, just to give a little bit more context. Because I think tonight is all about dress code, it's all about fashion and tech, but it's also all about paying it forward, right? And I think if you ask anybody on this panel, we'll get into it. If you ask myself, if you ask anybody behind you, tonight's all about giving what we got when we were in your shoes. And nobody got to this place alone. And I want to ask you guys in high school, how many of you guys know what you want to be when you grow up? Really? Okay. Awesome. So I want to tell you two things. There's no such thing as growing up. No such thing. In fact, one of my favorite quotes is that growing up is the moment you realize there's no such thing. Tweet it. Tweet it. Tweet it. It's good. And there's no such thing as being one thing when you grow up. And lastly, the people that raise their hand, I applaud you. You guys know more than I ever did in your shoes, but I guarantee you what you want to be today will change, and all I have to say is embrace it. Your career will change a ton. You will change a ton. You'll get a lot of advice from mentors, some of which you'll meet today, others of which you'll meet in the most unexpected ways on this journey we call life. And I just encourage you to go with it. There's no wrong answers, and there's a place for everyone in this world when it comes to finding what's right for you. Cool. Awesome. So let's get into our panel. Let's give it up one more time for them for coming out. We got two mics. We got two. All right. There you go. Cool. So I thought I'd start things off. One of the questions I love asking people is, what are you most proud of in your past, and what are you most excited about in your present? So if you want to talk a little bit about yourself, but just mention of all the amazing things you guys have done on this panel, what's something you're most proud of in your past, and what's something that you're excited about moving forward in the future? We'll start with you if you want to take it. Or if you want to work on it, we could start over there.
Start on the end right here.
Okay, so for me, I'm just going to...
You want to bring the mic up so we can hear you.
Backstory on me. So I went to school for 6 years. I did 6 years of college and graduated with a doctorate of pharmacy degree. I graduated and I realized that I hated it. And, and I also, wanted to tap into my creative side and kind of do what I was passionate about. And so... going back to this question, I'm proud of the fact that, I'm a pharmacist, but I'm also proud that I had the courage enough to go after what it is that I love to do. Because like he said, you never grow up. And so at 17, when you're told, okay, it's time for you to pick a major and figure out what it is that you want to do for the rest of your life, you don't always know. And you go into something and you complete it, and then it's like, okay, I'm stuck, but you're never stuck. So you always have to know that you have the power to, do whatever it is that you put your mind to. So that's how it is.
Do you want to take the next one?
I'm Chloe. I think something I'm proud of myself in my past is that I always have really considered education a huge part of what I do, even though now I'm doing YouTube full time. All throughout high school, I've been doing YouTube for 7 years, so all throughout high school, I really focused on learning, talked about it in my videos, talked about studying for the ACTs and applying to colleges, and it's always been something I've really pushed. So I think, no matter what you do, bringing education into it is very important. And then just something I'm focusing on right now is building a team and learning more about the industry, learning more about what message I want to spread to everyone. So,
beautiful.
Thank you.
Give it up. Give it up.
Hi, I'm Ale. I do YouTube as well. I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is that I never gave up. The journey getting to where I'm at today was not easy, but I love that it wasn't easy because it made me who I am. And yeah, I mean, it took me about 4 years, and it was actually longer than that, but once I committed myself, it took me about 4 years, but it wasn't easy. And a lot of the things that you guys are gonna be passionate about, that you guys love, you guys will find out that it's not easy. So never ever give up on your dreams. Always work hard, believe in yourself, and I always say that if you put the time and effort, you guys can make anything happen. And now I have YouTube. I have 3 channels. I also have a couple businesses that I've started with my husband, and that's my future now. So
awesome. That's amazing. What about you, Jon?
Yep. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. So here's what I want to say. This is actually pretty big for me. This is probably a big moment for me. It's a milestone for me. I have a crazy story in fashion. I've been professionally in fashion for the last 18 years. I just had my birthday, so believe it or not, me and my twin brother just turned 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
What, you clapping for it? What cameras? Alex, we still look good, bro. So real quick, what I want to say is I'm Filipino, and not Hispanic, but in New York and Florida, apparently I'm Puerto Rican. So, but what I want to say is I'm Filipino, and your parents want you to be an engineer or a nurse. And so I met someone who worked for Russell Simmons when I was 18, and he designed clothing. And I never knew that that could be a job that I could design streetwear. And so I was like, that's crazy. This event is big for me because I also teach in a high school. So shout out to Frontier and Lucerna High, everybody in Whittier. Shout out to everybody there. But I was telling my students, I always tell my students, is like at the point when I started to search my career, I went backwards and I said, what do I want to do? So of course everyone wants to be a baller, right? So I wanted to make money and I wanted to travel and I wanted something different. So when I met a designer, I was like, that's what I want to do. I took my folks, I sat them down, I was 18 years old, and I was like, okay, don't freak out, I'm gonna drop out of college, and don't worry, I'm gonna become an apparel designer. And they thought I was crazy. My twin brother told me later that they were like, convince Jon to go back to school. So I did go to school. I learned the classes, all my graphic design programs and everything. And it's a reason I'm on the panel today. I was a director of the last 3 companies I've been with. I've managed multiple multi-million-dollar clothing lines. And yeah, so it's been a great story for me, man. YouTube channel helps people learn how to launch clothing lines. So that's what I'm proud of.
Amazing.
Oh, y'all waiting for me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm on stage right now. I'll be getting panic attacks, heart attacks, but I'm here. Okay, so my name is Brittany. My channel is fashion related. I teach people how to make their own garments. The outfit that I'm wearing right now, I have a tutorial for. So it's a skirt and a wrap top. And I'm just really proud of how far my YouTube channel have grown, especially being a sewing channel. That's like one of the least searched thing on YouTube. But what I did to really stand out on YouTube, I used to intern for Michael Costello, and so I really started doing like trending fashion. So what I realized that was people wasn't putting out like gown tutorials. So I would show people how to make your own gown or how to make a wedding dress. So the stuff that people would send me from like all over the world was like amazing. So I do have a clothing line now, and I'm just really excited to see where it takes off from now.
I love it. Yeah. Give it up. So there's a few things in there that I want to dive deep on. First, I want to say how awesome it is that, you know, they really own that question. When somebody asks you, like, what you're proud of and all that, you shouldn't shy away. And I love how you guys really talk about all the hard work you put in and all the great things that have come about that. Jon, you mentioned something really interesting that I think, you know, when you're in high school, your parents obviously have a huge influence on you, as they do throughout the rest of your life. And they always want the best for you. But I think it's so interesting growing up in today's world where many of the professions that we'll take aren't even in existence yet. And I want to talk about each of you guys. How did you have that initial conversation with your parents that you were going to do what your heart desired and what you're doing now? And do you have any advice for people in the audience who may be thinking the same thing? Like maybe your parents, it doesn't have to be, hey, I'm dropping out of school. It has to be more like, hey, I don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer. I want to do something else. Like, do you have advice for people in the audience that may be wanting to pursue a more untraditional path, as untraditional becomes more of the norm in today's world? Open anyone. Jump in.
I feel like, obviously, our parents love us. So if they see that you're truly passionate about something, and maybe in the beginning they'll be very shocked and they'll maybe try to talk you out of it. But when they see passion and dedication, I mean, I'm sure they're going to support you. But always start everything with honesty. And if what they want is not what you want, speak up. Obviously, it's going to be your life, it's going to be your time, and you have to make sure that whatever it is that you do, you're truly passionate about, because it's something that you're going to have to dedicate a lot of time into it. So,
yeah, beautifully said. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
Well, for me, luckily, my parents are really supportive. I just remember, I barely learned how to sew like 3 or 4 years ago. But I remember when I was 3 years old, I made my mom a pair of shoes out of newspaper, and she wore those around the house. Okay, yes. But she didn't realize, she knew I loved fashion, but she didn't realize how big it would be for me now, because I'm designing for, you know, celebrities, and I've been working for Michael Costello. I had to say that again.
I was going to say,
man, he designed dresses for Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Britney Spears. I could keep going on and on. But when you're really passionate about something, I just feel like you'll succeed in it, and that's how I felt like with my fashion.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And I think it also goes to say there's 7 billion people in the world. Like, small is big. Like, there's people who share the same interests as you. So if you're passionate about something, then there's generally a lot of people out there. And one of the reasons I'm so proud to work at YouTube is that YouTube gives that access. So if you have an idea, you can just upload, connect, and who knows where that will take you later. Any other thoughts about the parent conversation or advice?
Just a couple quick points. I should say this. I did drop out of college, but I went back later while I was working full-time. I went back to school online so that I could teach at a high school, okay? Wow. Not just, so I'm a huge, my twin brother is actually an assistant principal.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of education. But what I want to say for what I always say to my students, so this is like a big classroom for me, is, you know, studies are showing that you're going to work in a couple different industries by the time you guys go to get your careers. Okay, so that tells me a lot of things. Your degree is going to be about the ability to go through tough finals and to weather through it, but you also need to have flexibility in terms of having a skill set that you can then put to something else, right? And real quick, I just want to say, on that note of attacking what you want to do, you brought a good point. You're going to do it. You're going to be in the workplace more than you're going to be with your family, your wife, your husband, your kids later. So it got to be something you're passionate about. And in terms of attacking it, like, what I don't see is, like, sometimes the hunger. So you got to be relentless about it. Like, quick story, when I lived in San Diego, I found the 10 brands that I wanted to work for. And this was before internet, okay? There's the portion about coding and everything. So when I speak, I'll say, we use the term computer nerd when I was in high school, and then it gets just like this, it gets nothing, right? But before, it was, I couldn't afford a computer. I mean, it was expensive. Now everybody got it on their phone. But you gotta be relentless about really attacking it. So I found 10 brands. I researched, I went to them, and I said, hey, I'm going to be a designer. I'm not one right now, and I will drive from San Diego to get you coffee. And then when they said no, I would come back and I'd have 10 questions. How did you get this job? What's the best thing about this job? What sucks about it? What's a tough month? What's a good month? What's a high and low? Those sort of things. So a couple pieces of advice there, but that's the kind of mind state that I have when I attack it. And so for this 18-year career, I've done a little bit of styling on music videos. I was doing, I was a fashion editor for a little bit, but it's all been around brands, but I use the same skill set onto the next kind of venture. And you guys should kind of have that too when you're attacking your career.
That's amazing. Wow. Any other thoughts on the parent? Yep.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like, anything you guys want to do, like, if you want it bad enough, you can do it. And I think that's how it was with my YouTube and still is. Like, I literally live, breathe YouTube. I'm posting videos every day, sometimes twice a day, and it's, like, taken over my life, but I love it so much. And I was in school. I went to UCLA. My dad is really, really big on education and has always been, like, it's his main thing, but he saw how passionate I was about what I was doing and how successful I was becoming. And I think, you know, if you have that drive for something, and maybe it's not exactly like what your parents think you're gonna do it, I think just going for like what your heart is saying. Yeah.
That's beautifully said.
I would say to just do your research and present them with that research and just kind of like the same reason that you want to do it and the vision that you have for it, just present it to them. And, you know, research it and show them somebody that's successful at it already. And that would be a good way. And then also just always, you know, come up with a plan. So maybe it is that you do end up having to go to college and for, you know, something that may be more career-driven and not your passion. Well, then maybe your plan is that you'll use that career to fuel your passion or to fund your passion. So it's about, like, you know, having a plan. As long as you have a plan and you know exactly, you know, where you want to go at the end, I think that's most important.
That's amazing. I think a lot of you guys talked about mentorship and like looping in older people, and I think there's a quote that's, it's great to learn from your mistake, but it's even better to learn from somebody else's, right? And that's what mentorship gives you. You could tweet that one out too. And so I want to talk about, you know, a lot of people talk about hustle. Like, a lot of people say go out there, go hard, like eat, sleep, and drink your work. You guys have all done it. I think that the thing that would make it really specific and add a lot of color to it is if you guys could tell maybe a story of something like, now some of you have millions of subscribers, you're reaching so many people every day. Let's rewind back. Like, what's a story of, you know, a moment where something clicked, you did something, you put in the work that other people didn't? I think the more specific we get here, it'll really like add a lot of color to what you have to do to get here, because it's more than just saying nice things, it's actually doing them, and you guys have all done it. Go ahead, yeah.
So before YouTube, I actually went to Phenom, which is a fashion school. I've loved fashion since I was in high school. And when I discovered YouTube, I actually discovered it because my husband was like, oh, there's this video. I didn't even know what YouTube was. But I went on YouTube, and then somehow I trickled across a beauty video. It was a haul video. And I instantly became fascinated with the fact that somebody can actually share the things that they were buying. But then I always see things from a business perspective. Back then, the video that I was watching, I think it had about 20,000 views. And I said, oh my gosh, if 20,000 people saw this video of her haul video, then if 1% of these people actually, if I had a website and 20,000 people can watch the stuff that I saw on my website, and 1% would go on my website, then that's like so many people that can buy stuff from my website. So I always saw it from a business perspective. So then my husband bought me a computer, and I started filming my videos at home, and obviously I thought it was going to be like an instant sensation, but nobody was watching my videos. And I was very frustrated. I did it for about 2 years, and I had 1,000 subscribers. And I would stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning, and I would Google, how can I get more views on my videos? What hashtags should I use on my videos? Or what tags should I put on my videos? I would not sleep because I wanted this so bad, and I had to figure out a way to do it. And despite the fact that nobody was watching my videos, and people would laugh at me for still filming and uploading and editing, I was still doing it because it was something that I truly, truly loved. Fast forward about 3 years after that, my brother said, you know, they make these videos in Spanish. And the first thing I did was I went into YouTube and I typed in what's in my bag. That was one of the big popular videos back then. It was about 100,000 videos came up. And then I typed in "qué hay en mi bolsa," which is the same exact thing, but in Spanish. And it was about 300 videos. And I speak Spanish, so then I thought to myself, this market has not been tapped into. So I started uploading videos in Spanish. I didn't give up. I didn't give up on the fact that I'm uploading. I was trying to figure out ways on how I can get in there. My YouTube channel now has 1.3 million subscribers.
Wow.
If you would have, thank you. If you guys would have told me that I was gonna have a channel that big, 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, I'm dreaming about it, but I don't think I'm actually gonna ever get there because no one's watching my stuff. So I don't even remember what the question was, but if you guys...
A story of hustle. I think you nailed it.
Yes,
You
so
nailed it.
I did not sleep trying to figure out how I can make this happen because I truly wanted it. And I guess more of the story is if you guys want something, even if, it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen for you, I promise if you guys keep working at it, you eat, breathe, sleep your passion, you guys will make it. So.
Amazing. Any other stories of hustle?
Well, for me, before YouTube, I was working at Disneyland. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the happiest place on earth.
Got some Disney fans up here.
So they say. But no, I just remember when I started working at Disneyland, I started my YouTube channel, but I would always find myself sketching out outfits at the register. And I'm just like, they'll be like, time to clock out. And I'll be like, all right. And then I'm scrubbing the gutters. And I'm just like, why am I doing this? It's not fun. So what I did was I took my last paycheck, and that's when I started my business. And so it kind of launched from there, and then I took a percentage of that last paycheck, and then I used it for my YouTube to invest in, better equipment, material. And so from there, everything seems to work out for me, but YouTube definitely takes a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. I find myself sewing at 5 in the morning, but it's so fun. Oh my God, like I'm sewing and it's just like, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it's fun. So basically what I'm trying to say is if you have a passion about something, definitely go and do it because that's like the best thing you could do.
Absolutely. And if I could build on it, I think that you touched on something very important, which is, what do you guys procrastinate with? Because that's probably what you're passionate about. Right? Like you spend the free time. We'll do some audience Q&A after this. Yep. So you like there's a lot of things that growing up, people tell you to do a lot of things, especially when you're at your age, right? But the thing that you should probably be doing is what you're most passionate about. If you find yourself coding until the wee hours of the night, you should probably be a coder. Don't fight your instincts. Like there's a place for everyone, and just like you did, like if you have a job and like you at some point you'll have to find a way to make ends meet, find in between work. But if you find yourself doing that in your free time and procrastinating, then that's probably what you should be doing as a profession. And there's a way, like we are so lucky to live in this day and age where you could turn that into something that has an audience and reach people all around the world. I think I also want to point out from your story, the words overnight success, that's a total oxymoron, right? There's no such a thing. It takes years to be an overnight success, and that's how people perceive you. So I see it a lot, part of my day job. Like a lot of people start on YouTube, they're very excited, but they don't have the dedication that a lot of you guys all did. It sounds like we'll open it to the audience. I want to give you guys a final word before we open it up to questions. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about, like things that you want people to know about? I want to continue the conversation. If you want to give your Twitter handles or your Instagram or your YouTube channels, anything that is a good way to keep in touch would be awesome.
Well, you guys can follow me on Instagram, BritXBrat2. BritXBrat2, I think it's on the...
And it's all on the...
Yeah, it's all on there. And also I host workshops and classes at YouTube once a month. So you guys can check that out on YouTube Space website.
Sorry, can I share a little bit on the last part?
Absolutely, go ahead, John.
Sorry,
yeah.
I just have to say...
No need to apologize.
Okay, for me... Okay, so... Let me tell you all this. I have a fraction of the number of subscribers of these beautiful ladies on the panel, but look out,
beautiful gentlemen.
And yes, but look out for the collab. They're all going to collab with Jon Phenom at some point. Hope. All right, but here's what I want to say is I was the guy where people would say, "Oh, my friend designs clothing," and so I'd get a random call from so and so, and they'd be like, "Hey, I'm so and so's friend, and I'm trying to start a clothing line." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. What do you need to know?" So when I started my YouTube channel, I just put up 20 videos of what I would always tell people to do in terms of starting a brand. And it was funny because I was like, no one's ever gonna watch this. I get like 100 views in like a month or something. So, but I would say, go to this YouTube channel. And when I stepped away from it for a while, it came back and there was like 1,000 subscribers, so I saw people wanted the information. And so now I'll do a lot of consulting, and that'll come from my base of people looking for the information. So for me, that's where something kind of clicked, and I realized I could actually offer value. But yeah, so just want to share that. And for me, if you just Google, oh wow, I just said if you Google at Google, that is crazy.
Whoa, Inception.
What camera? Whoa. That's crazy. That's crazy. You can
the
Google
black
Jon
hole is about to form.
and you'll find me. And then my YouTube channel is /Jon Phenom. Oh. Thanks, Jack.
Hype man.
Any other thoughts before we open it up, or things you guys want to say?
I think I just want to leave you guys with this last little bit. With social media, we are, watching each other, and oftentimes we'll start to compare ourselves to, people that we see, and they may inspire us, and we'll say, oh, like I want to do what they do, or I want to be like them, but like I would never be able to do that. You have to always remember that they had a story, and they were in the same position that you were at one point, but they had to make the decision and have courage enough to go after what they wanted to do and believe in themselves. So a lot of times with social media, you have to shut it off in a sense that you have to look at yourself as an individual and know that you are fully capable of doing what they had to do. It's not going to be easy. It wasn't easy for them. They had probably many sleepless nights and, probably wanted to give up, but you always have to be persistent and always know that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. So, and also note, social media, people are only putting their, what they want to show you. They're not showing you the back end of it. They're not showing you the late nights when you're, up at 5 in the morning sewing, or like when you're, editing your videos. So you don't see that, but you see that amazing picture or that amazing video. There's always work, hard work that's behind that. It's never easy, but you can do it.
Beautifully said. Any other thoughts, guys? Some serious wisdom being dropped right now.
Oh, and follow me on Instagram at Darren Wears It Well, and DarrenWearsItWell.com is my blog, so make sure you check me out.
Boom. Nice, nice. Any other thoughts before we open it up?
I'll plug my socials.
Plug away.
Yeah, so my Twitter, Instagram, everything's at CloeCouture, and then I started a clothing line last year called Glow by CloeCouture. So that's all on CloeCouture.com if you guys want to check that out.
Cool. Awesome, awesome. I think we have a box to pass around for questions. We got 2 questions. Maybe we'll do one from this side, one from that side. Yep. You want to stand up, say your name, introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kalila. I'm from Gala Girls Academic Leadership Academy.
All right.
And
give it up for her for asking the first question. That's amazing. That takes courage.
And I just had a question, what would you say your main focus was when you were going towards your goal?
Great question.
I had to think about that one.
So for me, obviously I met this guy, Aliasha, who was a designer. So I would write it everywhere. I would just tell everybody, I would put out in the atmosphere that I am a designer. So I was on my way to becoming a designer, and I was real serious about it. I didn't breathe until I became an apparel designer. Then after that, it was other things, creative director and all of that sort of thing.
My main focus, when I started YouTube, my main focus was always business. I always knew that I wanted to have my own business. So I always made sure to keep that in mind in whatever I did. So I was always figuring out a way how I can leverage what I had and actually turn it into a business. So always owning my own company was my goal.
I think for me, something that's always been my focus and always will be my focus is getting better. And that's like, at first it was getting better with makeup and then getting better with my video quality, and now it's just getting better as a person and learning how to convey that and spread the message to you guys.
Amazing.
I think a lot of times when we start out with a goal, we think of the end result. And you have to use that as fuel to get you there. Because, you know, there's the hard work in between, but also, you know, remember that shining moment that you see yourself in, or whatever it is that goal is at the end, how you see yourself. Remember that and use that as ammo to just, you know, really work hard and go after it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's actually a lot of studies that show if you visualize yourself attaining the goal, you're much more likely to get it. So if you begin with the end in mind, you'll be ahead.
Yeah, and for me, when I started YouTube, it was definitely also to be a better designer. I was actually going to school for fashion design, but I felt like I wasn't learning enough. So that's when I kind of took a break from school and just started teaching myself techniques, and then that's when I brought it to YouTube. And so, yeah, with YouTube, it's all about me teaching people from all over the world. And I know a lot of you guys are in high school, so I know prom season will be coming up for you guys. So if you want to learn how to make, yes, right there. If you want to learn how to make your own prom dress, and guys, I have clothes for you guys too. My channel, I'm just saying.
I love it. Any other thoughts before we go to the next question?
I agree a lot on the visualizing thing. I have always visualized every single goal through this entire process. Like, my first thing was that I really wanted to get to 100 subscribers, and everyone doubted me and laughed at me and said I wasn't gonna do it. But I knew in the back of my head, like, I just was picturing myself with the 100 subscribers. I already went out and I was gonna do a giveaway. I like bought it before I even got them. So just really like putting yourself in that place and like acting like you already have it is a big key to success.
Amazing. Great advice. Thanks for your question. We'll do one more. Oh, here we go. Do you want to stand up, introduce yourself? Give it up for her to ask a question. Way to go. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Honey Tokyo Mashishige. I'm from Alliance Bloomfield High School. And my question is, what really inspires you to do this career?
Ooh, great question.
Sometimes it's when you figure out what you don't want to do that will lead you to what it is that you do want to do. So for me, you know, graduating and, you know, becoming a pharmacist, and then, you know, at work I was bored. I was like, this is boring. You know, it's good money, but it's boring. So sometimes it's what you don't want to do. When you're in that place where, you know, okay, I don't want to be here. That's what, you know, drives you or gives you the idea or stirs you up enough to say, okay, what is it that I do want to do?
That's amazing. All high school students should hear what you just said. That's amazing. That's so true. What do you guys think about that question? What inspires you? What's your why?
Well, for me, like I said before, I always had a passion for fashion. I definitely feel like if you put anything out on social media, definitely do something that you enjoy and don't do it because it's trending or it's the next popular thing. But I just really enjoy doing what I do. It's like just waking up every day, sewing, making videos for YouTube, and seeing all the work that people send to me from all over the world is just, I really enjoy it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What I want to say for you guys individually, when you guys are thinking, because everybody's thinking about how does this apply to me? So it's, once you guys go on your journey, and it doesn't matter what age you are, you know, like I had a friend tell me the other day, he's 35, and he's like, I hate my job, I don't want to do this, help me, John. So it's the same thing that I would tell like a 16-year-old kid. You have to get familiar with the things that you love and don't love, just like you were saying. And then when you get on your journey, like you might go into one job and figure out, wow, I don't like this, or I don't like this situation. Maybe if you pivot it and change it, there's another thing that you'll love. That's why I've tried so many different things. Like I probably have 10 versions of my resume, but it all kind of culminates with fashion. And another thing that I'll always tell people is when you do find what you want to do, find the best mentor possible who's doing it, okay? Like there's a reason why someone is first in their field and someone is 226th. At the same industry, the same job, right? Like I would pay money to intern with someone who's #1, or maybe they have a huge ego and I don't like that, so I go with #6. Do you see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to compromise. You know, I don't want a Devil Wears Prada situation with me, because that movie wouldn't end like that for me. Where's the camera? For real. It wouldn't end like that. I'm Filipino for real. So what I'm saying for you guys is find that best mentor, learn everything you can from them, because when their psychology is different. When they wake up when she's doing her YouTube video, she has 3.2 million, y'all. 3.2 million subs. Don't sleep on it. So when she wakes up in the morning, her psychology is different than someone who has way less subs than that. The designer, architect, whatever it is you guys, realtor, whatever you guys want to be. There's someone who has a psychology, and success leaves clues. So if you grab some of those clues, it will expedite your career by decades and by money, y'all. Tons of money. So like, and that's not necessarily the push for it, okay? It's about being happy with your life, right? Because studies show at about 80, 90 grand, you can kind of get everything you want in your life. So you guys are young, you'll be like, I want to be rich, I want to be a baller, you know? But in time you'll see. But it's about finding a mentor and then getting the clues of success from them to really drive your career up.
Great. I think we're going to start wrapping up, unless you guys have any quick thoughts to drop in. Any quick thoughts before we wrap up? Cool. I want to say thanks so much for coming out. At the ending note, I want to say this is not the end of the conversation. It's very much the beginning. Look us up on your program. Add us on social media. Come up to us after this event. We want to talk to you. We want to help you. We want to pay it forward. I want to give it up one more time for our amazing panelists.